Hi, I'm Benny Goodson. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm reacting to Rogue Worship Leader's Instagram story. If you don't know Rogue Worship Leader, they're a Christian memer who combine their love of Star Wars and the fact that they're a worship leader to make some hilarious memes. You should go and follow their Instagram right now. That's where this stuff has come from. Just so you know, I haven't asked them if I can do this video. I don't know Rogue Worship Leader. I don't know what the etiquette is either for reacting to sort of stuff like this, but I just thought it was a really cool idea what they did in their Instagram story and something that I wanted to react to and see if there's anything that we can learn, if there's anything that we should know as well. I'm expecting a lot of things that we can relate to. I'm expecting a lot of things where people say worship leaders have big egos and that we play the bridge too much and things like that. So let's dive in. Dear worship leader, it's not about what you want. I've been leading worship for about 5 years now, and I think the first lesson that I had to learn really was it's not about what I want and not about what I think, but it's about something much greater than me. I come from playing in bands, and I became a Christian during my time at music college. And a lot of what you learn in music college is how to make your voice sound good, I studied singing, how to make your voice sound good, how to make your instruments sound good, how to make your music sound good. And as a worship leader, I had to shed a lot of that stuff in order to really do the job properly. Please don't try and schedule us on days we've blocked out. It feels so disrespectful to our time. Yeah, man, rota problem is a big deal in the life of a church in general, not just with worship team, but to get the rota right, that is tough. And I understand 100% where this person's coming from, because as a church member and as a volunteer in a church, you want it to be understood that your time is precious, and you also want to be treated like a person who is valued, to get that to fit everybody's schedule. That is a big skill. It feels hypocritical to memorize music when vocalists have confidence monitors. I guess this is coming from like a larger church with a big band, and maybe somebody said if you're an instrumentalist, if you're the guitar player, or if you're the keyboardist, it looks bad to have a music stand in front of you so you can't read the music. I mean, to have that expectation and the pressure to do that isn't that great. And then in a church where vocalists have confidence monitors, which essentially I guess means that the lyrics of the songs come up on the screen, then why shouldn't the musicians have music stands? And there's the reaction from Rogue Worship Leader: it's okay to have music stands, you're not Elevation. Yeah, I think there is something to be said though for the excellence of everybody knowing their music and everybody knowing what they're doing, but we also need to be able to balance that with the fact that everybody's volunteering outside of the sphere of Christianity. Even to do a function gig and have the music there is kind of acceptable, although most people are on that level if they are working as a professional, where they can learn a song within the space of hearing it 2 or 3 times. And I also think that it's dangerous when we as worship leaders in small churches try to replicate what we see on YouTube from mega churches that have the resources to film all of their services and put them online, and also everybody around the world is able to tune in. If we try and recreate that for our congregations of between 20 and 100 people, then we're doing something a bit dangerous there, because we're setting a tone where this is more of a show than a community, and that's not cool. The bass is never high enough. It's true, it's never high enough. You don't know everything. Input from the band is sometimes pretty valuable. Yeah, I think all the time it's pretty valuable. The band is there to give input creatively for the music, for the songs, for the arrangement, also spiritually, to support the worship of the church altogether for the time when they're playing the songs. And so if the worship leader is trying to carry that, then that's going to be quite negative. I've said to somebody once, he said, hey, when you play this chord, you should play it in this voicing. And I said, hey, just stick to playing bass, which wasn't cool, man. And Charlie, I'm sorry. And to be honest, a lot of the time our musicians are better musicians than we are. And so we should be very grateful for the input that they give us. We really need more of a personal relationship as a team Importante is the response as well. That's true, man. First and foremost, we're a church, and for a group of musicians, and musicians in our day and age, I think, are very conscious of what other people think of them, especially because we spend our time doing something for others to hear or interact with. For us to be confident as a team doing that, even just the fact that we're playing songs together to vibe with people, it is important for that relationship to be there. And for this reason, it's really important, I think, to meet as a team and hang out. In Central, we have worship team gatherings a couple of times a year where I'll just order pizza in, we'll hang out, and I'll give a little input, but you try and get as much time as possible for people to get to know each other, because even in a small church, you can have the problem where people come in, do their shift, and then leave without connecting with each other. That's not what we want. We don't want a group of volunteers, but we want a family supporting each other. Making the music sound nice by adding stuff to it does not distract the people being led from worship. I think that's true. I also think that there are cases where it does distract. So for instance, if I'm leading worship and it's a very quiet song and somebody behind me starts ripping up a guitar solo just because they're saying the Holy Spirit's come upon them, that is going to distract. If I'm leading worship and somebody's putting like a blanket of gentle noises underneath using reverb, then that's not going to distract. I've been leading worship before, and the percussionist has got a triangle, and in between every phrase of the song came a massive ding. I'm not saying it was wrong for them to have done that, but what I will say is if it's not normal for the people in your church to hear a massive ding in between every phrase that they're singing, then it is going to distract them. On the other side of that, it's important for us to be creative people, so get the balance. If you want us to practice, please send the songs before Saturday night, okay? Thanks. Rogue Worship Leaders said it all, really. Worship leaders, love your team by giving them plenty of time to rehearse. People's time is precious. People want to be excellent in the thing that they serve in, so giving people time to learn new songs is very important. But also, if you don't give people the time to learn the song, then you need to expect and be okay with it not being the finished product when you're leading it. It takes a lot of work to pick out 3 to 4 harmonies for each song of a 5-song set. True. Life is hard help. True. Come on, leaders, we need to support our team. Life is hard for them. We need to make it as easy as possible for them when they're serving on our teams. Worship leaders, we have your back. Please never be afraid to try a new idea or ask more of us. Thank you. Appreciate it. That means a lot. Stop turning your mic up louder than everyone else's. Your singing ain't that good. True. Playing a song in the key of F sharp is not normal. G flat is, though. Work out a signal for when the Spirit moves, and moves you throw in an extra bridge. To do with worship leader moves and worship leader signals, it's very important, I think, for the team to know that. Some signals could be, I'm going to move my guitar back now. That means that you need to play quieter. Signal could also be, I'm stomping my foot. That means you're going to play louder. Or a signal could be the flamingo leg, which means we're going to play that part of the song again. Please bring the key down for those of us who don't sing super high. It's important when we sing the songs that people can join in and sing them. And if that means that we don't sound as good, then we have to sacrifice the way that we sound in order to serve the people that we want to serve in worship. Dear worship leader, I cannot hit the snare, crash, tom and hi-hat at the same time. Drummers don't have 4 hands. Dear worship leader, most of us are volunteers working full-time jobs and juggling family. Exactly, we need to respect their time. Please stop sneaking bridges in at the end of songs without telling us. This is it. Too many bridges. Incidentally, in the Bible, we never read about God building a bridge in order to move, but he does part the sea to go through it. Food for thought. Pick a side, all in with drums or no drums at all. Don't be indecisive. Thank you. Yeah, as churches and as Christians, we're kind of scared of drums. What I will say about drums is it's important for us to be able to move our bodies, and drums help us to move our bodies. What I will also say is, because they're so loud, it can often be difficult for people who aren't used to rock music to engage with the worship. Solution for this is to use a cajon, that's like a wooden box that you sit on and hit, or other kinds of percussion. Another solution is, you might have seen the plastic screens that the drum kit goes in. Another solution is to use a drum pad. Or you could use all three at the same time. Depends on how enthusiastic your drummer is. But drummers, we value you, we love you, we need you. You need to check on your volunteers. Not all of us are doing okay. I'm also guilty of not checking up. I got to be aware that when I'm the worship pastor, when I'm the worship team leader, my responsibility is also to check up on the personal lives of the people that are in my team. Said about it a few minutes ago, but it is very true, and I agree with the sentiments here. Hey, worship leader, ask us for help. Don't feel like you have to do everything alone because your title is leader. Dear worship leader, stop micromanaging. Dear worship leader, you are worthy even when you make mistakes. God only asks for a joyful noise after all. You just got compliment sandwiched. Yeah, that is a compliment and then a critique and then another compliment in the middle. Stop micromanaging. My instinct there is to think that this is to do with music management and what everybody's playing at the same time. It is important for our band members to feel as free as possible, and when we go in and micromanage everything that they're playing, then that stops them from feeling free. We feel if you value us or not, and can tell if you show favoritism towards certain people. Yeah, I think as musicians, there are definitely people that we bond with when we play more than other people. And as worship leaders, we can fall into the trap of giving ourselves the A-team. We need to listen to this, worship leaders, and we need to make sure that our team feel loved. Dear worship leader, it is your job, if you picked a song, to know how you want it to sound before practice so you can help us. That's true, man. You need to know before practice what key you're playing in. You need to know before practice what the arrangement of the song's going to be before you get in there. Or on the other side of that, you need to be okay with how it sounds if you don't know that. And if you are relying on your musicians, then you need to value their input for that. Dear worship leader, don't feel like you have to have it all together. We're here to lift you up too. Thanks. And also, I think as worship leaders, we need to allow ourselves to be vulnerable in front of our team, which is what this is talking about, and allow them know us and for us to be vulnerable. And last one, the best one yet. Dear worship leader, listen to the AV team. They have the high ground. That's a Star Wars meme. I would say the AV team is a crucial part of the leading of the worship. If we didn't have the audio visuals of worship, if we didn't have the sound technicians, and if we didn't have the people putting the lyrics on the screens in order for people to read them, then the worship would just fall apart and it wouldn't be able to be communal. It would just be a performance and it wouldn't be doing the job that it's supposed to be doing in the church. And so, yeah, let's value and show love to our AV team. What are you doing to make your sound team, your visual team, your music team feel like one cohesive team? And I've just realized that I don't even have a WhatsApp group with all of the people who are on the Technic team and the band members all together. So maybe that's something that I'm going to do. So that just about wraps it up for the video today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. What's your favorite Christian meme page? Have you got an experience like any of the stuff that we've been talking about today? Do you have worship horror stories? Let me know your worship horror stories in the comments. Thank you, Rogue Worship Leader, for having that conversation on your Instagram. I hope it's okay that I made this video. Hope you don't mind. A link to their Instagram in the description. And you can also find a link to my Instagram in the description. Click through here or here to see some of my songs. And you can also click here if you want to subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you again soon. Stay rad.